to my channel. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my little garden here in the little city of Kuno from the province of West Flanders in Belgium. Come, let me take you around in my little garden. Here is the beginning of the season for this year. So we have here a little different types of herbs here in our garden. Like for instance, I have here some oregano, some ricola, and some origola, and that is radishes that has grown. I allow it to grow so that I can start plucking the flowers. So that is one of this side of my garden, but I'm going to take you through the whole garden step by step and to show you what I want to do for today. I really just want to show you everything here in my garden and how I prepare my meals here with all the little herbs that I farm or that I plant here in my garden. So it's not a big garden, but it's full of a lot of excitement. Like I have here some edible flowers. You see some violettes, some that's for decoration of plates and garnishing my dishes to give it a little bit of fancy, and it's also eatable. It's delicious. So here is, you see, it's also how do you call it, boriga. If you know boriga, it's also eatable flower. It's like a taste of cucumber. Cucumber, if you know cucumber, that is a taste of cucumber, the flower. So the flower is also used for decoration for our dishes, and it's always picked fresh from our garden. So that is just the part of this edible flower. Welcome everyone once again to this episode of my garden tour. Today I'm showing you for the first time my little garden where I pluck all my herbs to create that delicious and beautiful meals you always find on my channel. So I'm going to take you a tour of this garden step by step to show you every one of the herbs that we have in this garden. Like here I have some, you see, some some basil, green basil, and I have a tomato that is left from last year and it came back itself, so I didn't do anything. Maybe there are two in numbers. Maybe I'm going to remove one of the tomatoes to allow the other one to grow. Basil goes very well with tomatoes, so it's absolute a companion plant. So allow the basil there to stay close to the tomatoes, and it's a really, really good thing for the tomatoes. They protect each other. So, and here I have the oregano that is crawling. Is also oregano from last year that came back this year. So it's perfect. That is a combination of Mediterranean herbs, oregano, thyme, basil, and I have here corn flour of different types. I have here the pink corn flour, and the blue corn flour, and they're all different types of flour. I have here also the how do you call it, beans, a kind of beans, that is the flour of the beans. So really I plant this for eatable purpose. So it's not the aim of harvesting the beans. It's really for the eatable flour to use for the decoration of the dishes, and to give an accent or a fanciful and a tasty and taste to the plate. So let me take you further. So I also have here also another edible flower also, I don't remember the name in English, but I will put it down in the comments below. This pink in color is very beautiful also, and I use it mostly also to garnish dessert or starter meal, for instance, for a starter meal. And if you know the name in English, leave it in the comment below. I'll be very grateful. Thank you. So then I have a little bit of what I started planting this season, this year. That is here. I have here some tarragon. As you see, tarragon. I have a tarragon. I have a mustard and salad. I have here Sally. And I have here also pepper there. So I have some other veggies like tomatoes that is coming, just the remains from last year that is coming. I will decide if I need it or I don't need it. Maybe I will remove it to give space to the plants that I need. So it's just the start of the season here. That is why we have to decide what we need this year, what we want and what we don't want. So here in my bucket here, I have mint, and I use this mint mostly for making teas. For those of you who are teas lover, comment, do you like mint tea? We pluck it fresh from our garden, and you know, when you pluck herbs, you give it the opportunity to grow more. So you give it that, you know, when you slice it, you remove the herb like this. I removed it maybe 2 weeks ago. You can see it is growing bushy again. So that is the aim of herbs. Really, it is by harvesting that you give it that boost. So I also have here, this is a specialty here in Belgium. We call it zuru. That is a kind of, it have a kind of a, how do you call it, a kind of lemon sour taste. It is used here for preparing eels. We call eel fish, where we call it palin in Hedgroen. That is eel cooked in green sauce. So that green is used as the basis for that sauce. So it is very important here for us. I have it somewhere also there in the garden, but this is also from previous year, which I'm trying to regrow again this year to give it a boost. But it's the beginning of the season, as you know. Everything starts growing again in the garden here. So the garden have not has the total boost, so we are just starting it gradually. So, and here in the middle here, I can show you the little herbs, the micro herbs that I'm growing. I have here the parsley. If you can see, this parsley is also from last year. You know, parsley is also a perennial herbs. So what a perennial herbs, that means that they're coming back year after year if you take good care of it. Of course, they are here in the greenhouse. So the winter, the snow is not falling directly on the parsley. So you have that opportunity to harvest it and even hold it year after year. The next year, give it a little bit of fertilizer or manure, and it becomes very, very good again, and it comes back year after year. I have it here for at least 3 years, this parsley. So it's doing great. So, and beside the parsley, I also have red basil, and also special basil from the Mediterranean. In fact, I love basil not only for the cooking, but also as a companion plant, because basil gives, you know, protection to other plants here in the greenhouse. I have never ever used anything like insecticide or pesticide to control any kind of insect here. I always use companion plants, and it works very well here for me in this green garden. So, and next year, the little green I have here, some micro arugula, the rucola salad. You know it if you know a lot about French kitchen or Italian kitchen. You know it is something that is not missable. You must have it when you are like serving like carpaccio, raw meat or something like that nature. So arugula, or you can also call it rocket salad. So that is the micro rocket salad. So I plant it batch by batch. That means after this is harvested, I will be starting a new one very soon, because rocket salad is grow very fast, so you can harvest it while you start a new batch, so that you keep harvesting and you keep planting throughout the year. In fact, rocket salad is one of the salads that you can plant all year round. You can just plant it in batches and you move every time you have a new one. So here in this section, okay, here I also have rosemary in a bucket, but I also have bush rosemary outside. This I in the bucket here, I transfer it to the greenhouse in the beginning of the winter. It's just started now, the season, so it has not picked up completely. But after now, I'm sure before the end of August, it will be a very big bush of rosemary. So here it is something just, it was so amazing. It is something that I didn't plant for. That there is potatoes. So the potatoes was supposed to be used for compost. So I dumped it into this planting container, container here, and I just wanted it to decompose so that I can use it as a compost for my other plants. So before I knew it, it started germinating and it started growing a lot of potatoes. So I had no other option than to leave the potatoes and just start cultivating it. I don't know what it will bring. I don't know how it will look like at the end of it, but I'm sure that maybe there will be a potato coming coming out at the end of the season. I hope, but I'm trying it for the first time. My aim here is not to plant potatoes. I really would just want to plant herbs, plant some tomatoes, and plant some garnish for my plates and for decorating my plates. That is really the aim of my garden. So, and here I also have some cucumbers. So I have two types of cucumbers here. I have here the snack or the baby cucumbers. That is the little species, those small species. So they are already starting flowering. Maybe after some a week or so at about, maybe we start harvesting. And I also have the normal cucumber here. So as cucumber is also the companion plant to cucumber, I also planted some beans, the red beans and green beans. It is also not the aim of eating or harvesting green beans. I don't really care about the green beans itself. It's not that I don't love eating green beans, but it's really for the purpose of the flowering, because every part of the beans is eaten. So I always use the green beans flour as decoration and garnish for my plating. And also the green beans help to control nitrogen in the soil, and also it's a good companion plant for cucumbers. That is why it is planted next to the cucumber. I always use companion planting to help to control pest and disease in my garden. So going forward here, I also have here I have here melon. So this is the catalopic melons. That is a melon that is, I don't know really. The melon have a lot of species, but this one is the yellow, the reddish orange kind of a melon. So it's not very large. It's very, very small. Something maybe you harvest at least 5 or 6 melons from it, like that. But I plant it every year. I find it just fun planting it. It is not really the aim of harvesting melon. So here I also have the mustard salad. That is very bitter in taste, but they have a special taste that if you love it, you love it. And if you don't love it, you don't love it. But I love it. I love bitterness. It's a kind of bitterness in my meal. And I don't know why, because maybe I grew up eating things bitter and I find it delicious. It's not always pleasant for everybody, but I find out that a lot of some people really do love it. So next to the mustard salad, I have here zucchini. That is also a special kind of zucchini. That is a yellow zucchini, we call it. But specifically, that is a baby zucchini. This zucchini is also not planted for the sake of the zucchini. I only use the flowers of the zucchini as a decoration or making special dishes of flowered zucchini. But sometimes when the zucchini gets too fast, grow too fast, I don't have any other option than to pluck the zucchini and cook it also as zucchini meal, but grown purposely and mainly for the flower of the zucchini, which I use in my decoration and plating of my dishes. So next, the zucchini is a flower also. It's a salad. And this salad grows and it flower, a kind of yellowish flower here also. You see, so the purpose of this garden is also mostly a kind of, for decoration purpose and flowering, plucking fresh flowers every day for the garnishing and decorations. So most of the big vegetables that I need, like other vegetables like broccoli, like cauliflower, I always buy it from the farmers, my farmers source, and which is always mostly fresh pick. So after that, next year I also have a eggplant. I have eggplant here, 2 species also of eggplant. I also love eggplant for just one reason, that I like Mediterranean food. I like Mediterranean vegetable. They match so well with a lot of dishes and many things I've experimented about. So this one will grow tall and big and to make a lot of eggplants here. So here in the middle, that is one of my precious planting back or planting space here. Every year I experiment with a lot of vegetables and herbs, like what you see here, spring onions. These spring onions will be harvested today or tomorrow, mainly for dishes or for creating dishes. If you want to see what I will make from these green onions, please just come back tomorrow and see it live. Or if you want, I'm going to create special dish video for you to see what I want to, because I have something in mind to create from these green spring onions, because I find it so delicious and so fresh. Every year I make I create a new inspiration of a new dish using spring onions. So spring onions is one of the unmissable vegetable in my kitchen. I almost have it every day of my life. You can be sure that you have this in my kitchen. So in the middle here, in between the spring onions, I also planted some tomatoes, and I also have here some peppers. And their peppers, just as I said, they are all companion planting and companion plants. The aim is to protect each other from invasion, from insects or from disease. So in the middle here, I have tomatoes. And these are different also types of tomatoes that, they will not be so big. They will not grow too tall, because, the height of this greenhouse is just 2 meters, about 2 meters. So I try to protect them, that they start crawling on each other or growing sideways and, left and right. And then at the end, maybe I'll give it a little bit of lift or support to take it up. So that is how here in the kitchen. So I also have here herbs that is from last year that I planted also last year. This is also a flowering herbs. I'm going to trim it also and give it some manure, because it has not been taken care this year. So the season have just started, so when I give it a total trim and giving some feeding, and I know that at the end, between 2 weeks or 3 weeks now, it will pick up again and start growing. And here I have here some, so that is veg, we call it here in Belgium. So it is the first time I'm bringing it this year. It's fruit. I don't really know what to do with it, but I just bring it. I just brought it because I hope to plant it and see what comes out of it. So then I also have another herbs there on the pot. I also have here some cucumber that I just planted. I planted it a few days ago also. This is a support, a backup for the other cucumber, because cucumber grow in batches also. When the other one is almost through with the season or is getting to the end of the season, this one will start bearing also, so it can push me to the end of the season. So that is why I planted it then in the bucket. So as then come with me, let me show you the most part of my garden, and that is this section. And with this section is one of the main planting tomatoes. I have here different types and different species of tomatoes, from small yellow, green, zebra, ananas tomatoes, plums tomatoes, Roma and Italian Romas, and green zebra, yellow baby snacks, red baby snacks, you know, name it. So there's all of them is a combination of different types of species. But particularly this is the main what I serve in the summer, in the month of end July. At the end of July, this should be ready to serve. So July, August, September, it is all ripe home grown tomatoes served here in our restaurant. So let me show you how I take care of these tomatoes in the beginning of the season, because I planted it already for a few weeks now, and they have grown to this stage, and now what they need is trimming and then support and watering, because this is the flowering season, and they really need this support to be able to have that yield and that come to that flowering section to begin to bear the tomatoes. So let me begin by showing you exactly what I do every year, season after season. So, and again at the end of the season, I just allow the tomatoes I don't clean up the garden. Allow the tomatoes to fall, to dry up, to fall, and they decompose in that space. So after decomposing, they rot and they create a manure for the next year. So I really give a lot of manure to my plants, because they are always having their natural manure. So let me just push out this. So you can see that they are so grown now and they need support. So what do I do? So I have here with me my green bag, and so I'm going to remove most of the branches of the tomatoes. So thank you everyone for tuning in once again to this live episode. I hope you are enjoying this garden tour with me. My name is Chef Viviane. I'm showing you my little garden for the first time. I'm showing you how we do it here in our little kitchen in Kiona, in the province of West Flanders, in our little country of Belgium. Hello everyone, and keep watching. So So I'm going to remove because you see it's making so much leaves, and this is not the aim of it. So you want your tomatoes to bear fruit and not leaves. So you have to remove almost, not all, but almost the leaves so that it can bear fruit. So I would love to know where you are watching from. Tell me in the comments. So you see, it needs support. So normally I am supposed to support it before now, but I have been very busy, so I have not a lot of time. So that's why it took so long to do this, and I have been planning also to show it to you guys. So now I'm going to do the support, and I remove almost every, so that the tomatoes will start flowering, more flowering, because now it has so much leaves, and having so much leaves, it will not have fruit because it's putting all the energy in making the leaves instead of flowering. So this is also a twine that I used from last year. A twine is also easy also to keep the shape, to keep it straight, and to keep it growing along the twine. So some people also use twine, even sometimes a year before, 2 years ago, I only use twine, and it also worked perfectly. It grows just along the twine and keeps the tomatoes straight, and I didn't even need a bamboo for support anymore. So the purpose is also to trim the tomatoes, and also give it more space and more air, more air circulation, so that to prevent also disease and pest. So when you trim it, you see I already make an opening there. That is to say that there will be more circulation of air, and it will surely prevent disease on your tomatoes. I am not a farmer. I just love planting. Yes, I grew up seeing my grandmother always planting, and it became almost a lifestyle for us. For me, food or cooking is like, food coming from the garden and to your table. So it is a lifestyle. It is something that has always been a part of me from an early age of life. So I never knew anything more than, seeing my grandmother to the backyard of the house and plucking some herbs and vegetable and make some dinner. So you can understand why this is so that I'm so passionate about doing this. Sometimes some people say you need to have a big space to plant, or you need a big space to do this, to do that. But I'm here to tell you that even with the smallest space in the backyard of your house, you can plant, you can cultivate, and you can start planting something for yourself. So don't wait till you have a very big space or big garden or a big land before you become and before you can plant something. You can really cultivate anything you want in the little or the smallest space you have in the backyard of your house. When you just open it, you cut it, but you always have to leave 2 or 3 branches so that you don't kill the plants. So just shape it in here until this this level, and open up everywhere. Open. Hi, thank you. Yes, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Thank you, so guys. Thank you. So, like this one here, I have is a very special species of tomatoes. This is, we call it the Thornberry tomatoes. That is very small, tiny, very tiny. We call it the smallest species. This is the smallest species of tomatoes, smallest species of tomatoes in the world. It is called the Thornberry tomatoes. So this, you have to be very careful because it also have it is so tiny. The stems are not, they are not, these really need support. If there is any tomatoes that need support, is this. If there is any tomatoes that need support, is this. You see it, it's so tiny and it's really fragile. So you have to support it by you know by using twine and anything I don't know you can use to support it. It's going to put my tomatoes, and so this is the first and most important tomatoes to support. So normally I give it more than three bamboo support, because the stems will be growing in different direction. This is not like the other tomatoes where you see they are just growing in a vertical form, and you can trim it, and then you can see from under the tomatoes, and you can see everywhere, you can choose. But with the Thornberry tomatoes, it is a different species, and is growing like, it's growing round. That means it's not growing in a vertical form. So it's like, see, and it's very fragile. So this is one of the tomatoes that you must have to support. So
De vraagt iemand, wat is dit cannabis? Wat is dit cannabis?
No. What is what this you are asking? Is it this you are asking?
What is this cannabis?
No, this is basil. This is basil. This is basil. And next to basil is tomatoes. This is basil. It's not cannabis, it's basil. We don't grow cannabis in Belgium. We don't grow cannabis in Belgium. It's not allowed. Thank you for turning on. Thank you guys. So I was speaking about the Thornberry tomatoes. This is one of the most fragile tomatoes you can grow. It is very, very fragile. It doesn't grow vertical. It grows, I will even say horizontal, because you have so many branches of these tomatoes and it crawls just everywhere. So it's not just like the typical tomatoes where you have to shape it and give it a rectangle shape. So let me keep going. I lost my mic. So let me fix it so that I can continue. Okay. So mic is going off. Okay. So let me continue. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you, all of you. Tell me where you are watching me from. I want to know where you guys are watching from. Leave your comments and ask any question. Ask any question. So I will continue to trim the tomatoes. It is not so easy. So I have to fix my mic. It's a bit, it's like, it's not working anymore. Okay, I will go for another mic and I will come back. In a few minutes, I'll be back. Yes, I'm back. So let me just continue walking you through. So I trim it to this, you see, to this level. So I just giving it the first support, but I will still be giving it more support. But this is just the first support to keep it straight and going. Then I will give it better support later, here and there. But the most important thing, or what I'm doing now is to clean up, to give it air space so that it can breathe before I start supporting it. So as I was speaking, I have here about 20 species of tomatoes. So they are ranging from the thornberry, as I told you, to the ananas tomatoes, to the Roma, to the how do you call it, snack pear, red pear, yellow pear, and so forth, green zebra, and so forth, and so forth. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm staking tomatoes. Yes, these tomatoes are planted specially for our clients here. And we use it to prepare beautiful and delicious meals in the summer. So if you want to see more of these tomatoes, just keep on watching in our channel, because we will make lot of varieties of recipes using these tomatoes, ranging from all varieties of tomatoes. So, right. I am not a farmer, I am a cook, but I love planting. I'm not a farmer. I'm a cook that loves planting. So, and when you are trimming the tomatoes also, always make sure you want to check out, trim up, let me say, the branches that you think is weaker. Always leave the best branches and trim the weaker branches. That is the aim of trimming. It's not that trimming everything. You have to always trim. Like for instance, when I look at these two, I can definitely see that this branch here is weaker. So trim this one to give opportunity to the stronger branches to strive. And bring a supporting stick. It's a lot of work, but yes, it's fun doing this because it's my passion and I love tomatoes and I love fresh tomatoes, ripe, plucked from my garden. So it's too far, so I have to get it closer. And I will serve here some twine. There are a lot of twine here to give support. So I think this one is the red pear. Oh no, this is the buffalo tomatoes. No, I think the red pear. This is the red pear. This is the red pear. You can see it here in a pear shape. Let me show you. Look at it. You can see it here. It starts producing here. Look at that is the red pear. So yes, so it happens sometimes. I lost this, so I'm just going to trim it off. There will still be another branches, so I'm just going to continue so that I can clean up this space and so tell me in the comments. Yeah.
What do I do about leaf miners? What do I do about leaf miners?
You have a problem with, yes, organic pesticide. You can use organic pesticide if you have one or if you can make one. But if you cannot make one, I will make a video to show you how to make an organic pesticide, which is very effective for your plant. But I will advise you to do companion planting, because if you do companion planting, you will have less problem with insects, and you don't even need to use any pesticide. But if it is necessary and you really want to use a pesticide, I will show you in another video how to make an organic pesticide that will help you to control pests in your garden. So there are a lot of simple things that you can use that will not destroy the environment and also not that will not be putting poison into to your food or to your plant. So if you want, I only use that in my flower bed when where I am planting flowers to control the paste there. There, I never use it in my garden like this. I never used anything because normally I grow everything here organically. At the end of the season, I just allow the tomatoes to dry. They fall to the ground and they will rotten and they form a manure and a lot of microorganisms. And I have never had any problem here with any pest or disease of any kind. So maybe I'm lucky. So do you guys also plant tomatoes? And what kind of tomatoes do you plant? Let me know in the comments. I would like to know. And also shift one or two ideas. Knowledge is power, you know, and nobody is born with knowledge. We all learn by doing. So if you have something specific that you know, if you think I'm doing something wrong, let me know in the comment. As I told you, I am not a farmer. I am just somebody who is passionate about planting, and I love fresh food. So don't say, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it. Yes, it may be. So let me know something. So I've been doing this now for the past 4 years, and I find it very, very interesting.
Master, I have cherry tomatoes.
You have cherry tomatoes. Wow, I love cherry tomatoes. They are amazing, amazing. In fact, I love a lot of tomatoes of all types, but cherry, I cannot even wait that these tomatoes start bearing. So I eat kilos of them every day. Invite me to your house so that we can make a table full of cherry tomatoes, man. It's crazy.
And hot pepper spray work.
Yes. If you know about the hot pepper spray, yes, indeed. Yes, it do work. That is surely. I have tried it before in the past. I think in the first year, I had an experience with, I don't remember anymore. I think it's with my zucchini also. And I used the pepper spray because I found it also. I was searching for something organic on internet. And then I saw it and I used it really. And I never had an invasion anymore. Everything just went. So I think it works. But I will advise you before you use any pesticide or organic, whether organic or non-organic, I don't care, but any pesticide on your plant, make sure you do a test. Make sure you spray it in a little bit of the plant and allow it for at least 12 hours to a day to watch if there's any chemical reaction. So it doesn't burn the plant or it doesn't kill the plant, because it is not the aim of killing the plant. It is the aim of preventing the plant. So, and secondly, make sure you never spray on a hot day, because when the temperature is too hot, your plant can burn and die. So it is better spraying early in the morning or late in the evening. Thank you. So, and you see like this, I can so I'm going to remove the two here. Maybe in 2 weeks time, or 3 weeks time, I'm going to show you how the garden look like, what I did today. You can see the result. Like today, you can really not see the result because I'm shaving everything out of the tomatoes. But this is really just going to give a big boost to the tomatoes, because I always harvest here kilos of tomatoes from just this little space, you see. So let me go on and continue. Yeah. So using here, you can use anything, you know, to give support or tie the tomatoes. Like me, I always use the twine. I've been using it, this cable twine here. I've been using it for almost 4 years. At the end of the summer, at the end of the season, I just detach most of them and I take it inside and I reuse it again the next year. So you can save some cash that you don't always have to rebuy every year, because I know a lot of people, but if you have the money and you say, I don't care, I can buy a new one every year, yeah, then it's up to you. It's not a problem. But for me, I always buy, you know, I always use the same year after year. I've been using it since I think 4 years now, and it's pretty well. I'm still using it. So that is one way to save money, save cash, and use your cash for something else instead of spending your cash for the same thing every year. So that is just the first support of the season. Maybe later I will still give it more support if it needs more support. But at the moment, I think it's just pretty okay. And also make sure that you remove every weed that is growing around the plants, because sometimes when you are planting, like you see, there are a lot of other weeds that are growing around the tomatoes. I'm sure they are not needed because they are taking manure and they are taking food from the soil, which is meant for the tomatoes.
I use the fuzzy sticks, different colors.
What?
I use the fuzzy sticks, different colors.
Ah, okay. That is also nice. Yeah. It's also nice. There's not a really specific anything to use. You can use anything of anything that you like or anything of your choice. As far as it's doing the job for you, it's okay. So it's okay. It's okay. There's not a rule. There's no rule. There's no strict rule or specific rule to anything. So, you know, you just do it in your own way. So it's a lot of work. It's sometimes like messy. It's sometimes like, you know, as if look that like they are falling, like they don't have whatever. But after some few days, now this stick is still long. I'm going to bring another one because it cannot go under that shade. So there is something also here that is important. If you know something about tomatoes, and if you have been planting tomatoes for a while, you will all agree with me that tomatoes need a lot of water in the beginning of the season to grow, to flower, and to start producing till ripe. But after the tomatoes get ripe, let me say towards August, at the end of August, then we have problem with too much water. Then the continuous falling of the rain is too much for the tomatoes, and the tomatoes don't like too much water. So that is why we made this place here to prevent our tomatoes from too much flood or from too much water towards the end of the season. That is towards the end of August and the early part of September. So it's because of this shade that we made here, this transparent shade. It is transparent and the tomatoes receive a lot of sunlight and also a lot of energy and everything that is needed, except that there is not too much flow of water at the end of that season. And this gives us the opportunity to keep harvesting tomatoes until sometimes we harvested tomatoes until the end of maybe sometimes October and even early November, which is not the case in many other countries where there is the summer and the winter season, and the falls, when the fall begin in the late September. Most of the time all the tomatoes are already dead, but here we harvest our tomatoes always until in October.
Are you in Florida?
No, I am not in Florida. I'm not living in the US. I'm living in Belgium. I'm living in Belgium, in Central Europe, next to the Netherlands, next to Germany, and next to, what do you call it? To France. So I'm in the middle of the Netherlands, France, and Germany, and yes, in the middle. I'm in Central Europe. And where? Yes, it's in West Europe. And where are you living?
I love Belgium waffles.
Ah, yeah. We have the best waffles in the world. And in fact, I make one of the best here in my restaurant. And also Belgian beer is the best in the world, you know. We are best for everything. Our little country, we have so much to give, especially chocolate, the best chocolate, you know, dark chocolate, white chocolate, mixed chocolate. In fact, Belgium is known for the best delicatessen. You talk of food, you talk of chocolate, you talk of beer, and in fact, I am sure. And also our French fries. Have you ever tried French fries from Belgium? Because French fries is originated from Belgium. It's not French fries, really. It is really Belgian fries. So I hope you know this. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on my live show.
I am a shopaholic.
Ah. Yes. Now we keep pushing. We have pushed so far. So this is broken. So in the summer, I will be making a lot of meals using tomatoes. And I mean it, there's a lot of inspiration. I've created a...
You compost cut leaves?
No. I don't compost tomato leaves. I don't know for which reason, but I learned that you cannot compost tomato leaf. Maybe like I have a compost somewhere here. I put all the leaves from my garden together, from my flower space and in other space together, but except the tomatoes. Maybe 1 or 2 leaves or so, but not in a large quantity, because I don't know if it's true, but if you know something about tomato composting, leave it in the comment below. Maybe somebody have a better idea about it, but I don't really have much idea about composing tomato leaf, because I saw it that it's not good for compost, so I never added it to my compost. I add every other leaf except tomatoes and potatoes. So if there is somebody who knows something about compost, know much about compost, and know much about the tomato compost, please give us a support in the comments below. In fact, I know much about flowers than tomatoes, because I have been planting flowers for almost eternity. So I know a lot about flowers than tomatoes. It's just since 4 years now. So it's since 4 years that I started planting tomatoes. So I've been trying, and I've been gathering now experience from planting the tomatoes. I know that some tomatoes bear more fruit than the other, and some need more support than the other, and that tomatoes need a lot of water in the beginning of the season, and in the late end of the season they need less water. So that all this experience have been gathered through the years of planting myself for about 4 years.
I threw banana peel on my tomato plant today.
Yes, that is perfect. Tomato peel on your banana, and banana peel on your tomato. That is better. That is good. Why? Because banana has a lot of potassium, and potassium is very, very important also for the development of your tomatoes. So you know what you need. You need a lot of potassium, calcium, and how do you call it, nitrogen, for your tomatoes also to develop and also to grow well. So I think it's not a bad idea to give banana peel to your tomatoes. In fact, I have done it also, I think, in the second year or so of planting tomatoes. I also did the banana solution, where you put banana in a water, that is a peel of banana, in bucket of water, and added water into the bucket, and I left it for a couple of days, and then I used that water to give to my tomatoes. So I think it worked, because my tomatoes were very, very beautiful that year. So I am sure it's a good idea or a good solution. So I don't know how to, okay, let me just go around. So it's the first support. Sometimes it's very, very difficult, but after 2 or 3 days now, they will start growing and taking shape, and it will be less easy. See, I'll just remove every leaf, and I'll be fine with it. And what do you make with your tomatoes when you plant? When you plant tomatoes, what do you use your tomatoes to cook? Like, what do you make with your tomatoes? Me, I always use my tomatoes for a lot of things. Like, I make caviar from tomatoes. I make juice, tomatoes juice, and I made.
Do you use earthworm castings?
Yes, I use earthworm casting also. That is in the beginning to mix. I mix it with the soil. Yes, I mix it with the soil in the beginning, the soil preparation before the planting of the tomatoes.
I make chili or pizza or eat alone.
Ah, I love pizza. Oh, there's no one who don't love pizza. We love pizza a lot of cheese on it, and in fact, it's amazing, so delicious. I don't think there's anybody there in the world who don't love pizza. Maybe I think so. We always, we always make a lot of pizza. Also, you don't need to be an Italian to eat pizza. I think everybody loves pizza. Even here in Belgium, people love pizza also. So, but this season, I will also show you what to do with your tomato, something little more than pizza or something more than pizza. We also use tomatoes here for creating soups, stew. We make also tomato juice that will give us more as mocktail, that is alcohol-free drink, with rosemary and with blood marine. I don't know if you know it. So, and then we have a fine touch of tomatoes where we can create different dishes just using tomatoes. Like we can make espuma from tomatoes, we can make caviar from tomatoes, we can make miros from tomatoes, we can do so much, we can make crispy from tomatoes, we can make powder from tomatoes, we can make that is dust, we can make so much from tomatoes. So we just besides the basic daily use of tomatoes like soup, in the pizza, stew, and bolognese, and so you can use tomatoes for so much.
When is perfect time to prune? At night time, in the morning?
And pruning, I think, is in the morning or nighttime. One of the above. You can prune early in the morning or in the night, but not in the day. And never prune when it's raining. If you know in the morning that it's going to rain in the afternoon, it's better not to prune. Because when you prune in the morning and after pruning and it starts raining, it's very bad. Then you are inviting disease to your tomatoes. And I think that is not the aim of pruning your tomatoes, you know. So you should be aware of that.
I made a pizza with homegrown basil and tomatoes. It was the best.
Yes, I believe you. Yes, surely. I surely believe you that's the best. There is nothing better than a homegrown tomatoes. Because why I really start growing tomatoes. When we started here in our little restaurant here, I was always buying all vegetables and tomatoes from the market. But each time I bought tomatoes, I have never been satisfied with the taste of the tomatoes because I found it so flawless, it was not delicious, and sometimes they were unripe. So I told my partner, I said, I think I'll start growing tomatoes myself. I said, because I find the tomatoes not really up to standard. You're paying so much for so little. So that was my first motivation of planting tomatoes. So the first year I planted about, I think, six types of tomatoes. And the second year, and so I was inspired by the first year, and then I started planting so much and other herbs in combination with tomatoes. So that was just how it began. And today I find myself planting more and more, and it's fun. It's fun. Yes, growing your own tomatoes, and it's really tasty because. And secondly, you know, most of the tomatoes you find in the shop have been plucked unripe. So what do? They plucked it unripe before time, because if they plucked it immediately and bring it to the shop, the tomato will be rotten. So they cannot allow the tomatoes. They cannot allow the tomatoes to ripe, you know, in the shop, in the farm before they pluck it, because where they pluck it, they cannot bring the tomatoes immediately to the market. So I mean by this, it takes days and sometimes even months before the tomatoes are ready, packaged, and before they arrive in the shop. So most of the time, these tomatoes are plucked in the in green form. They just allow the tomatoes to mature. That is to say, to mature. And then they put it in containers and they bring it into the silos and they allow it to ripe slowly. This process of ripening, and it become from green to ripe to red. So I even try it myself here to experiment because I like experimenting a lot. I experimented with green tomatoes, which I plucked here from my garden last year, and I took it to my cold room and I allowed it there for weeks, and it became a ripe and red. But I can notice it clearly that the taste is different from a sun-ripe tomatoes. You can taste it, that the taste is different. No wonder I say the tomatoes in the shop is always flawless. They are not delicious at all. This is not the same thing like a sun-ripe tomatoes that you grow and pluck in your garden. So apart from tomatoes, other do you plant what else? What other veggies do you plant?
Planted some more seeds, radish, peppers, basil, thyme, flowers, and cannabis.
Ah, yeah. Yes, I know, but we don't plant cannabis. We are not allowed to plant cannabis here. We are not allowed to plant that here in Belgium, and in Europe, it is forbidden. You can plant everything except cannabis. You know, we are not allowed, except that we are not allowed to plant that. And where are you living? Where are you living? Are you kidding? Eh? Where are you living?
I'm not allowed either.
Ah, okay. I'm glad you are kidding. I'm glad you are kidding. We are not allowed here. What? No. We are not allowed here. I know you are kidding. So,
Great value. I have hot chili. I save the seed and grow it in my field.
yeah. And did you have a hard time germinating your chili? Because I found that chili is very difficult to germinate. Do you have the same experience? Yeah, this is oak. I always find it that chili peppers, they are very difficult to germinate. So, what do you think?
Pierre Master Baker. I am in Florida.
Ah, nice to know that you are in Florida. Yeah. So nice. Thank you for coming to my live show, and I welcome you once again. Thank you so much. So how do you germinate your chili pepper? Because I have a problem germinating chili pepper. In fact, I have tried it for almost 3 years. It's the first time this year that I succeeded in germinating the chili peppers. So
You are like the Edward Scissorhands of tomatoes.
okay.
You are like the Edward Scissorhands of tomatoes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. That's nice word. Nice from you.
Stephanie Floyd.
Yeah.
What do you for blight? Blight?
What?
What do you do for blight?
For budget.
Blight.
For bright.
BL. Blight.
Yeah, what? Need my sunglass. What?
Stephanie. What do you do for?
Ah, yeah. For, yeah. For, like, I don't understand your question, Stephanie Flood. What are you asking? What do you really mean? Can you re-ask your question, or can you explain, because I don't understand?
Right.
I'm using noun. If you are speaking about the lights, I'm using noun.
BL.
Yeah. I don't understand your question. If you can be clear, I can answer you. So,
Blight is a disease or something. I heard
yeah,
before.
okay, yes.
Blight on tomatoes, where tomato leaves turn yellow, then brown, and it spreads and kills the whole plant.
Yes. Now I understand where you are going. Yeah, now I understand the tomatoes disease. No, I have been very fortunate. Since I started growing tomatoes 4 years now, I have never had any kind of disease in my tomato plant. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I've just been fortunate. I've never had any kind of tomatoes. But the only thing, one thing I do is that I always prevent the tomatoes. I know that they say that the tomatoes can become infected at almost the end of the season, when there is a lot of rainfall, like when there's too much water from the end of the season, towards the end of the season, let me say around ending of August and early September. So that is where you should be aware of. Like now, I have prevented that by building this, how do you call it, this cover under the tomatoes. What it prevents the tomatoes from receiving excess water. So the tomatoes here always receive just enough water to grow and bear fruit. And after then, it is then there's no more to that. So maybe you can, if you can have a cover over your tomatoes, maybe it can also prevent the blight or the disease you are speaking about. So, but I have never had any form of disease here. And what I will also advise you, like tomatoes, is if you can plant companion planting with your tomatoes. And I think basil is one of the companion plants that you can plant with tomatoes. It will help in the eradication of pest, and I think also that it also help to control like a disease, and most especially maybe spacing also, to give it air, like what I'm doing now, to remove anything that is like crowded around the tomato, so that there will be a lot of airflow, and surely maybe it will prevent disease. And not watering from on top of the tomatoes. I always water below. That is, like here, I have here an irrigation system that is also built, that is also here. You see, I have an irrigation system. So then I always give water from below, and never on top of the leaf, or spray. I never spray the leaves with water. So maybe that is why I never also have a problem of a disease. So I hope I answer your question. Thank you, Stephanie, for coming on my life. So
Yeah.
I have.
I don't take mustard. I forget to water my tomatoes. They rot. It's so sunny in Florida.
Yeah. Yes. And you should maybe you should have the irrigation system built in. They are so cheap and easy to use. In fact, it is a game changer since I started this irrigation system, because I have a busy schedule. I have a lot of a busy schedule, honestly. Before I finish preparing in my kitchen and doing everything, sometimes it takes hours before you can give enough water to all your plants and all your vegetables and all your tomatoes. So I think the irrigation system is one of the game changer, the best thing that can happen to any gardener. You can invest on this. They are not so expensive. You can get it on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. I think I bought this for around 15 euros, and that is about maybe $18 now or $17, something like that. I don't know how much a euro or a dollar is now in exchange, but you can find it on Amazon. So we call it dripple irrigation. So you put it under the tomatoes or around your plant, and you connect it to a water system or to your tap, and you just program it. But I also have a computer system, because it's not only coming to these tomatoes, so it's also going to the greenhouse and to my flower bed somewhere else, not in this section of the garden. So I just program it, and in the morning or in the afternoon, according to the program, it start giving water to any direction where the computer is programmed. So the computer costs around, I think, around 100 euro and above. And with this, in fact, if you are looking for around $200, you can be able to irrigate the whole of your garden, of your tomato, depending on how big your tomato garden or your vegetable garden is. But I bet you it is a game changer. It has really made a difference in my life, and I could never ever think about giving water anymore to my plants. It just give it water, and it's best every time. And it also prevent disease, because you never have to have that flash of water everywhere in your plant.
I'm not allowed to install irrigation at my condo.
Why? Are you living in a place where you cannot install irrigation? Why? Is there any control? And you cannot take water from your tap for your irrigation? Or what? Oh, it's a pity. It's a pity, because it's very, very easy irrigation system. It's very, very easy. It's a pity. I know that there's a lot of, there's a lot of regulation from country to country, from region. Even here in Belgium, we have a lot of irrigation regulation everywhere. The regulation is different a little bit further and here. So for us here, we are free to install irrigation, and I find it very, very handy. And it's a game changer, surely.
I fill gallon jugs from my tap and water everything.
That is a lot of work, That is a lot of work. Yes, I did it also the first year a lot, carrying water every time with my jug, and I had my shoulder started hurting. So I cannot do it this year again, and combining with the complex working in the kitchen and working everywhere is not so easy for me. So that's why I decided to install the irrigation, the dripple irrigation, and I find it really handy. I've been really impressed with what the irrigation system can do for me. So it's really, really, really a game changer. So thank you everyone once again for coming on this live show. I just want to thank you so much, because it's really a pleasure to take you through my garden, to show you my garden tour, to show you what I do here and what we do here in our little kitchen. Our aim is to cook delicious meals. That is the main purpose of this channel, to show you how we make our food in our little kitchen here, but mostly using our homegrown herbs and homegrown tomatoes and homegrown ingredients. We don't grow everything ourselves, but we grow most of our herbs. That is the herbs. We grow almost 90% of the herbs that we use in our kitchen. And things like potatoes and other vegetables, we buy it from a very local source where we know that it's plucked daily, fresh from a farmer. So if you love what we are doing here in this channel, please like, subscribe, share with your loved ones, your friends and family. Check out our channel and see what we are doing there. And if you love, continue watching. Every time, day after day, we come up with new idea. But I just thought that I should show you in deep, behind the scene, what we do here. So we will show you other things also, like when in 2 weeks time I'm going to like tomorrow now, the tomatoes will receive good watering, and maybe in a couple of days now, between a week and 10 days to 2 weeks, the tomatoes will be well established again. Then maybe I will do another live video to show you the advance or what the progress of the tomatoes. And I'm hoping to show you all the creativity, what you can do with just using tomatoes this season. So stay tuned, everyone. Thank you once again for watching me. Signing it up here with Chef Viviane. Cheers. Love you guys. Bye, everyone. Bye. See you. Love you guys. Bye, everyone.